YouTube, it's Corey. Today is Thursday, July 16th, 2009, and I want to talk about names. My legal name is Courtney Ann, which the Ann is awful, but is a carry down from my grandmother, great-grandmother, and my mother. They all their middle names are Ann. Oh, sigh. Okay. And I think I'm not sure what to do with that. I think I might just change it to A if I were to change my name. But my first name, Courtney, it's not too bad having it legally. I'm fine with dealing with it once in a while, people I don't really know, the doctor's office, insurance companies, whatever. It's palatable. Just like the pronoun she is palatable. It kind of makes me a little sad because I know that the person doesn't really know me, hasn't really talked to me, but in legal instances that doesn't really matter. My family gave me the nickname of Court, which is ridiculous and awful, as well as Court, which is basically the same, a tiny bit better. My aunt gave me the princess name of Cornelia, which is ridiculous. No. And I don't really like Courtney for linguistic reasons, as well as sociological reasons. There aren't any guys named Courtney in the world anymore. I was named after one, but it's now a predominantly, almost entirely female name. So that's a problem. And it also has the O is contorted by the R sound. And my real problem is the T in the middle of the word is a stop, but it's unreleased, so it's like Courtney, and I really hate that. And the nasal doesn't help. So, to get my preferred name, I chopped out letters and came up with Corey, which I like a lot. It reminds me of Boy Meets World all the time. I was a real fan of that show. And it still has some problems. There's still the OR thing, and C is not a phoneme, so the spelling is inaccurate because English spelling is awful and doesn't actually represent sounds at all. It should be a K. Just like the Y should be an I, but I like it with a Y much more. It's more masculine. The I is really girly. But I've decided it's okay that Corey doesn't work entirely linguistically because that just embodies the imperfection that is English and life, and it's very philosophical, my name. It's easier to say than Courtney, which just makes me always go like, Courtney. I'm just like, ew, yeah. But I only just came up with Corey a month or two ago now, and I'm really liking it so far. I've been going by Coco, which was the nickname that my apartment mates gave me back when we were in the dorms before we were apartment mates, and it's cute. And I like it now. I hated it at first, just because it sounds so silly. And my friend kept shortening it to Coke, and I was like, I am not a beverage or a drug, thank you very much. But it was fun to go by for a while. It's still a nickname. I am comfortable with people I'm close to calling me it. It's like, oh, you can call me Coco, it's fine. Because they say it with affection, and I like it. But I've come to realize this is an actual name, and it's a girl's name, even if it isn't very common. And also it was really weird hearing adults calling me Coco, because I started abandoning Courtney and introducing myself to everyone as Coco, except my professors, but like the people at church. And then I would have 70-year-old people calling me Coco, and it was kind of weird. So I like Corey now. And it's very interesting that I still balance the three names, sort of, because in high school I went through this three-name, three-personality phase, where I set up these three different personalities, which were really just three different ways of feeling. There was Courtney, who was feeling happy, and Neri, who was feeling lonely and sad, and I totally stole that name from Legend of Zelda. And Amy, which name I really like, who was feeling angry and dominant and aggressive. And it's interesting, because now I feel like it's still a matter of how I'm feeling at the moment. I don't really identify as Courtney anymore, but with family and stuff, and that goes with she. And then there's Coco, who's feeling really friendly or whatever, and I don't know. just feeling more neutral-ish, and that would go with the pronoun co, even though nobody uses that, that's okay. And then there's Corey, with the masculine pronouns and just feeling more masculine. And I think that's pretty cool. I like having the ability to decide what name I'm feeling like based on how gendered, what gender-ish I'm feeling. But also right now I'm just feeling like Corey is right. So I thought that was interesting. There have also been names that I liked that didn't really work for me. I went through Jule and Julie and Julia and Julie in my French class in high school. These were all when I was much younger. And they were names I ended up giving to like my dolls and my backpack and things, but didn't use for myself because it didn't work for me. I really liked Samantha and Samuel and Sammy and Sam because of American Girl and Totally Spies. Totally Spies character was awesome. But it wasn't me. I got the nickname Corn Dog in high school, which was weird, and I didn't really like it. I went through Tahiri, which was the name of my favorite Star Wars character from the Extended Universe books. I am a nerd, okay? And I kind of stole the name and used it for a character in the book that I was trying to write in high school. And she fit my personality really well at the time, but the name didn't really stick. And since then I moved on through 2 other characters that I wrote, which is really interesting, because now I'm on my gender-neutral character that I didn't even think about when I was writing it. I was just like, oh, well, this character is exiled for being gender variant, although I didn't have the terminology at that time. And it's pretty cool. I applaud my younger self. It's neat. And I'm using that character as my Dungeons & Dragons name, Taurine. I mentioned I'm a nerd. Okay. My drag name is Cornelius, which is really cool. I got it from my mother singing that song to me all the time, which is by the Newsboys, I think, and it goes, Cornelius, and it's kind of catchy. But I like the name. And then there's the derivative corny, which reminds me of Hairspray, and that's kind of iffy. It reminds me too much of Corn Dog. And then I wanted to mention my YouTube name really quick. So I'm apocryphal, which I got from epoch, like the period of time, it's really long, and apocryphal, like something that's fictional and made up, like the Apocrypha. And I put them together and got Apocrypha, and then I was like, no, that's no good, and changed to apocryphal, because I prefer adjectives to nouns a lot. So I'm a fictional period of time, which I think is pretty neat, and it went with my whole writing phase back in high school. More than anything, I think names are how we refer to people and really categorize people once we get to know them beyond their initial labels. And so names are really important, because I have a friend that I think about her name, and that's how I think of her and everything that goes with her. I don't really think genderqueer, I don't really think MTF, I don't really think woman, I don't know, I just think of her name. And I try to respect all the labels that she chooses to associate with herself, but really when it comes down to it, I think how I think about people, at least, is through their name, because that's the label that catches everything, catches all of them in one word. And so picking out a good name that you feel comfortable with and want people to think of you as is pretty important. So I've been talking for a while, and it was slightly scattered, and I hope that was interesting. So yeah, I hope you are all doing well, YouTube. Talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.